Hello friends, welcome to this session which is going to discuss about objectives and significance of supply chain management. Last video also we touched upon the topic objectives and significance. But in this video, we are going to discuss more about the specific objectives, the general objectives relating to the retail industry, as well as what are the significance of this supply chain management, what are the rules, how we have to plan, how we have to design it, about the supply chain. So that is what we are going to look in detail into this video session. Come on, let's go deeper into the concepts and learn about it. The major objectives of supply chain. The supply chain is nothing but it's a global network of organizations that cooperate to improve the flow of material, or it may be the goods, or it may be the information between the suppliers to the end consumers or the end customers. And that should also be done with the help of a lowest cost or least cost. For transportation or for the warehousing, they should not pay more. So it should be very minimum amount that should be added along with the price in the line of distribution. But also you have to look into the speed at which you are reaching your customer or you're reaching your customer point. The final objective of the supply chain management and the supply is also depending upon the consumer satisfaction. When you want to supply some materials to your consumers, you should be very clear that I should supply it with a cheaper cost, and also I should supply it on time, because then only I can attain the customer delight or the customer satisfaction. The supply chain management takes into consideration every facility that has an impact on cost and plays a role in making the product match to customer requirements, from supplier to the manufacturing facilities through warehouses and distribution centers to the retail stores. See, the supply chain second objective is that you have to utilize the facilities which is going to incur cost for you, and that will be matching your concepts of pricing, and it should be a least cost. The main purpose of the supply chain is to maximize overall value generated, and value is the difference between what the cost supply chain incurs and the worth and the product has to the consumer or the customer. Value of the commercial supply chain is connected with its own profitability, generally known as the supply chain surplus. It's an excess amount. Because of using this particular supply chain, what is the excess amount which I am gaining either out of the extension of sales or out of the loss which I incurred in the earlier chain. For example, a customer purchases a personal computer from some company which indicates the revenue supply achieved. All the stages incur cost to make sure that efficient transfer of funds, information, storage of products and transportation to the final customer, etc. The difference between the supply chain cost and revenue generated from personal computer represent the supply chain surplus, or otherwise called the profitability of possible income. And supply chain surplus can be defined as the total profit shared by all the stages and the intermediaries of a supply chain. It may be so many intermediaries available in that, and all the stages overall profitability. The greater the supply chain surplus, the more successful is the supply chain mapping or supply chain design. But supply chain success is measured by its overall surplus, not by the profit at each stage. You have to total all the stages, stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and then only you have to finalize what is your profit out of this entire chain of supply. The supply chain management has to be efficient and cost effective across the entire system, from transportation and distribution to intermediaries or inventories of raw materials, work in progress and finished goods. These are all to be minimized. And the emphasis is not on simply to minimize the transportation cost or reducing the inventory cost, but rather on taking a systems approach to the supply chain management to reduce all these costs. What are the main objectives? So the objectives are listed below, and you can see a lot of objectives are available for this case. Number one is enhancing the customer service. Wherever may be the customer, in the global village concept. The customer may be in Africa or in America or in India or in Indonesia. It is not a matter. You can reach your customer through your products, online ordering as well as distribution channels. Enhancing the services by providing a best channel of reaching the customer, reaching the product in a shorter duration with lesser cost. Next is the expansion of sales revenue. By using the supply chain, you can expand the sales revenues because earlier the traditional market was only confined to the local area where you can send your person to reach your market or your consumer. But it is not like that now. Anywhere in the world, the customer can place an order to your product, and you can also expand your sales to any place through these available supply chain models, which is online models. And reducing inventory cost. This is reducing entirely your inventory cost, and which is going to be a 100% benefit for you, because even after getting the order, you can just produce your product and tell them that this is what the supply time, and you can pacify the customer and make them to wait for your product. So by this way you can reduce your inventory cost also. The next point is about reducing order to delivery cycle time. And so delivery cycle time also will be fixed by you, and that will be mutually agreed by the consumer. After that you will end the sales. And improving on delivery time. Always the Domino's Pizza is the best concept of challenging delivery timing concept. Within 20 minutes or within the 30 minutes stipulated time what they mentioned in the order, if the pizza is not delivered, immediately the cloth will be 100% free for you. So these are all some of the supply chain challenges people are making it in the market to satisfy the customers and improving the delivery time. Reducing the lead time is another criteria or another objective of supply chain management. And reducing transportation cost. As you all know that a flour bouquet manufacturer may recently used Rapido services to supply their flooring things to a marriage party hall or to the temples or to any individuals those who are in need of flower bouquets or flower garlands. They will be using the cheaper mode of Rapido services and they will be sending it. This is reducing the transportation cost. Instead of hiring a vehicle and sending it, or hiring a person and you are sending it, it is a very easy job for you, and which also will be very much advantageous to the perishable products. And reducing warehouse cost, as I discussed earlier, the inventory cost, inventory is zero, then no need of warehousing cost. So that is the supply chain model should be in such a way that design should satisfy the warehouse cost almost to zero. And expansion in depth of distribution and reducing supplier base are the other objectives, secondary objectives of the supply chain management process. What are all the importance of supply chain management, otherwise called the significance? The major significance or the role of supply chain in the manufacturer's point of view, or in the producer's point of view, or in the wholesaler's point of view is only two. One is they have to reach the customers, they have to reach their products or services to the customer in an easy mode with a cheap cost, with a specified time or with a quick time. For that, they want to mitigate the losses. Sometimes they are not in a position to supply their material to the consumers in a very long distance or in a very messy areas. So they may be losing the sales. They may not be in a position to travel to the place of the customer and satisfy him. But nowadays supply chain is in such a way that who are all available on that particular location will be identified. The chain also will be doing the same process. And the second one is expansion of sales and getting extra mileage for your product through the online retail stores. Example, we can say that the hotel industry. They are also supplying it in the local distribution by creating their own demands and sales, and also they are offering online sales and online orders and Swiggy, Zomatos, all these people are getting the food from the restaurants and supplying it to them. So they are by the way expanding the profitability, as well as they are also giving a large area of sales and making the process very cheaper. The lassi manufacturers, the cool drink manufacturers, the ice cream manufacturers, those people usually they were scared of the stocks which is kept there. Nowadays it is not at all a problem. They can distribute it through proper channels. And this reduces the inventory along with a chain and share better information among the partners. So you can also share, the partners are otherwise called as the people those who are in the supply chain management, and you have to plan in consultation rather than in isolation. For example, in a particular area, the people are having a industry, 5 or 6 people join together and they hire a vehicle and they will send it to Jharkhand or to Kanyakumari. But before that, it was not planned in such a way. Everybody, even one particular container may not be full, but they will be sending it on behalf of a particular company. But it is not like that. Now you can see that 3 or 4 people joined together and they started utilizing the benefits. Gati was one parcel service who was taking all the industrial goods, and the first company which was dividing the logistics of various companies, and TVS Parcels, ABT Maruti, ABT Parcel Services, all these people are doing it with lot of supply chain models in the earlier days, but that was not instituted to the models of the retail management. Now it is not like that. So many retail stores are available and they are consulting with each other. Lots and lots of manufacturers of Mumbai mills or the Banarasi mills or the Chennai mills are sending their textiles to one method of supply chain. And for this, we have to consider the levels of activities which a company should focus on. There are 3 levels of decision making in any company. One is the strategical point of decision making, the second one is the tactical, and third one is the operational or routine. What is meant by strategical decision making? The strategical decision making will be taken by the top management, which will be enhancing the production facilities or enhancing the branch or product line expansion or entering into new venture. All these type of strategical nature of decision making, which is going to be decide the fate of the company or which is making the company to move towards its mission and vision, is taken. The decisions are taken by the top management, and those type of decisions should be called as the strategical decisions. And when you are comparing to the retail point of view in the supply chain management, those type of strategical decisions should be taken with long-term effects, like partnershiping with suppliers, products manufacturers, and sales and markets of the particular product and location of manufacturing sites. All these things should be taken care by the top management and should take a strategical decision. This includes decision regarding the product design and what to make internally and what to outsource, and supplier selection, strategic partnering, and flow of material through the logistics networks. Tactical decision talks about the middle level managers and their decisions. This will be for a minimum duration, not like a long term like a strategical. Tactical decisions focus on adapting the measures that will produce cost benefits, such as using industry best practices, your competitors practice, even it may be best, you will be adapting it, and developing a purchasing strategy with favored supplies and workings with logistic companies. I told you already about Gati Parcel, TVS Parcel or ABT Parcel services to develop cost-effective transportation and developing warehouse strategies to reduce the cost of storing the inventory. Such decisions are typically updated anywhere between the once every quarter or once in a year. So the decisions will be within a short duration, not for 1 year or 5 years or 10 years. It may be sometimes for the quarterly decision makings because it will be decided by the middle level managers. Such decisions are typically updated anywhere between once every quarter and once every year, and these decisions are mentioning about the production policy, inventory policy, transportation policies, and also the frequency with which the customers are visited to your site either or to the retail stores. It will be based on that criteria. Then about the operational decision making or the routine decision making. So operational decision making, decisions at this level affect how the products move along with the supply chains, and operational decisions involve making schedules, changes of production, schedules and the changes of productions, and purchasing agreements with suppliers, and taking orders from the customers and moving products in the warehousing. And such decisions refers to day-to-day decisions such as scheduling, lead time, quotations, routing, and also the truck loadings. So these are all the decisions the supply chain management should consider before going for mapping or designing of a particular phase. And decision phases are in different methods. And here the supply chain decision needs a successful model. So for that, supply chain management requires many decisions relating to the flow of information or flow of product or flow of funds. These decisions fall into these above categories, otherwise called the phases, depending on the frequency of each decision and the time frame when we have to dispose it, over which the decision phase, and has an impact. The design, planning and the operation of supply of these materials have a strong impact on the overall profitability of the success of any business. During this phase, it is actually a design phase, supply chain strategy design phase, otherwise called as strategy. In this phase, the supply chain is structured and configured. It is designed that how resources will be allocated, various resources will be allocated, and what processes each stage will perform will be designed simply by drafting it. And the strategical decisions will be made by the companies, which includes the location and the capabilities of production units or the machineries and the warehouse facilities which they are having it, and products to be manufactured or stored at various locations, and modes of transportation to be made available, along with the different shipping legs and type of information to be utilized. So supply chain design decisions are typically made for the long term, in years, number of years, and can be expensive to alter or for a short notice. So usually this design will be made for a long term process. Consequently, when a company makes these decisions, they must take into consideration the uncertainty, otherwise called the risk factor, which is anticipated in the market conditions over the next few years also. So based on that, they have to design the model. And the next phase is the phases of planning, supply chain planning. So during this phase, the time frame consolidated or considered is for a quarterly period or to an year. It starts with the forecast of demand in the forthcoming years, and planning decisions include those regarding markets to which the given production facility will supply and target production quantities at different locations. As a result, the supply chain configuration determined in the strategic phase is fixed. So you cannot change that route mapping. The configuration established constraints with which the planning must be done. So planning establishes the parameters within which a supply chain will function, and they will specify the upper limit and the lower limit, and they have to work within that particular frame. And over a specific period of time, they cannot deviate from that also, because the supply chain was already designed by testing various methods. So the company should should plan within the frame of this stage. So companies start the planning phase with a forecast for the coming year's demand in different markets. And the following are the planning decisions undertaken by the supply chain. Number one is that companies must include uncertainty in demand, exchange rates, problems in exchange rate in the case of export and imports, and in the competition which is happening in the online. You can see that Flipkart, Amazon, lot of online sites, retail outlets are fighting with each other every day with their own deals. They are making stiffer and stiffer competitions in this horizon and their decisions. And given a shorter time horizon and better forecast than the design phase, companies in the planning phase trying to incorporate any flexibility built into the supply chain in the design phase and exploit it to optimize performance. As a result, companies define a set of operating policies that govern short-term operations. And subcontracting backups, locations, inventory policies, timing and size of the market promotion are taken into consideration while you are framing the plannings, and which the market will be supplied from which the location, what is the location you are going to supply the material, and planned buildup of inventories will also add values to your supply chain planning. And next phase is the supply chain operation. So operations is to handle incoming customers' orders in the best possible manner. So during this phase, the activities undertaken are firms should allocate inventory or production to individual orders and set a date that an order is to be fulfilled or finalized, and they should also generate a pickup list at a warehouse, who is going to pick it and what time they are going to pick up, and allocate an order to a particular shipping mode and shipment, and set also the delivery schedules of the trucks. All these details will be given to the customers well in advance in the online portal. You can see that whenever your order is placed, you can see your entire lead, which is your shipment started, it is shipped, it reached the particular port, it reached the channel, it is on the road, it is reaching your city, it is reaching the central division. Likewise, you can get the status tracking, and the time horizon is weekly or daily basis, it may be, or per order basis. During this phase, the companies make decisions regarding individual customer orders. And as at the operational level strategies, configuration is considered, fixed planning policies are already defined. Supply chain operation is very much important regarding the time horizon point of view. We are already discussed about that, and the time horizon or the weekly or the daily rotation or the duration of delivering and making the decision is a very tedious process when you are reaching it to the customer on the right time and at the right place. Lot of difficulties you may be facing it, like inventory allocations or the date of order where you are going to send it or generate the links for that. Everything process a matter in that. And in the particular shopping mode, the shipment, the delivery schedules, everything will be discussed in the supply chain operation models. And these decisions are taken by the operational level decision management, that will be in the medium level managers especially, and the policies will be decided in the top level management. At last, to conclude the process, there is less uncertainty about demand information because operational decisions are being made in the short-term horizon. It may be for certain minutes or hours, or it may be for days. The goal during the operation phase is to exploit the reduction of uncertainty and optimize the performance. The main aim here is to implement the operating policies as effectively as possible. So on the whole, the main objective or the aim of the supply chain management is that we should implement the process and implement the operating policies policies as quick as possible and as effective as possible. That is what the ultimate aim of this entire objectives and importance and the significance of supply chain talks about. So thanks for joining with me in this session. The detailed discussion about this particular topic can be further followed in my PDF and also the reference reading materials. Thank you once again. Keep on learning along with me. Thank you.